parables of the kingdom in Matthew chapter number 13. There are two long parables which we preached through, the wheat and the tares, and the sower and the seed. Then we looked at four short parables, the mustard seed, the yeast, the buried treasure, and a pearl of great price. That leads us to the seventh parable in the series, the parable of the dragnet, or the parable of the net. And the parable of the net is reflecting, or it's illustrating, the gospel message that is given out. If the parable sounds familiar, it's because it is a twin of the parable of the wheat and the tares. The spiritual message is the same in the sense that there are wheat that grows up in the church and there are tares. And not all people respond to the gospel and mix it with faith. So it is in the gospel, or in the parable of the dragnet. He used this parable to illustrate to fishermen. Remember, his disciples were fishermen, four of them. We know that Peter and Andrew were fishermen, and we know that James and John were mending their nets. And so it's indicated that 4 of the 12 disciples that followed Christ were fishermen. He had used the idea of farming as a parable earlier in Matthew 13, but now he's using the illustration of fishing. Back in 2013, when you sent me over, me and my wife, to Israel, we got to go to the Sea of Galilee. And while on the Sea of Galilee, they illustrated one of the ways that they catch fish on the Sea of Galilee. And so they had this big net on the boat, and 2 of us threw the big net over the boat, and they would let it sit on the bottom, and they would bring it up.